Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but boy, time flies when you're having fun. And today was a fun day. Actually, it's been a fun weekend, a fun week. Not so much so for the Kamala crowd or the character over there. And I got to wait for my 30 seconds to go by before I say words. Guy over there in Gaza that got blown to smithereens. But anyway, yeah, we've had a pretty good week, and let's see who's coming in. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Sherry. Angela, how you doing? Sissy, White Lightning, McMaga. Yeah. How you like the thumbnail I put up? You want fries with that? How many times did you hear that in your lifetime? How many times did you have to say it for people that worked at Mickey D's? Ha ha. That's what I have to put in that thumbnail, squeezing there somewhere. Mickey D's. There isn't anything more iconic, Americana, than working at Mickey D's. Yeah, I'm just looking through the chats. Hi, jet lag. Wanda, nice to see you. Joker. Quilt. Miss Vendersue. Got MS Motorsports in here. And hi, Debbie. It's a surprise. I usually come up on Sunday nights if everything's blowing right in the winds. So always remember, I've said a lot of times, like my dad used to say, when things are going right, looks like they're going good, that's time to worry. But what went right for Kamala this week? What went right for her? Was it the when she was talking about Doritos? She loved Doritos, and then Witchmer did a mocking the Eucharist with a Dorito and some TikTok freak. No, that didn't go out very good. That didn't work for her very good. Didn't work very good that she told a Christian he was at the wrong rally. This isn't the right rally, you're at the wrong rally. No, that didn't work out very good. When she sat up there and screamed like Adolf behind the microphone, I was going to get a audio of Roland Freisling. Look that name up. Roland Freisling. He was a judge during the Third Reich. And he would go on tirades, and superimpose that over Kamala when she was carrying on. Never again. But you know what? That was whether they knew it or not, they're probably too stupid to know it. But the never again saying goes back after the Holocaust, goes back from the 1940s. Never let that happen again. I doubt she even realized she was insulting Jewish people by using that phrase from what it was intended in a political situation. But there are dents. Hi, Jersey Joe. How you doing? Television shows. Ich stein Kamala. Uden bieten, kriegen, babben, schnitten. I know some German, but I'm just babbling. My mom was German to the bone, from Germany, where all the Germs live. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? KNS, how you doing? Pappy Two Bears. Ronald. Everybody's jumping in. Good to see y'all. So, no, she hadn't had a good week at all. But, she did get birthday wishes from Mr. T. Happy 60th birthday. He put it up, a post that was just dedicated to her. That's what it said. Kamala. Hi, Larry. Roland. Yeah, you'll have fries with that. But that was a push they started it in the 90s. It was called suggestive selling. And you listen to people through the microphone at the drive-through. They'd make their order. If they got fries, you'd say, "Do you want apple pie with that? Apple or cherry pie with that?" Or if they didn't say fries, that's when you say, "Want fries with that?" It was called suggestive selling. Two things you had to do when you worked for Mickey D's. You had to crack a smile. "May I help you?" And you had to suggest to sell after the order. "Yeah, I'll take fries. Would that be a large?" Because pennies make dollars, and how many school kids learned a little bit about business from going to Mickey D's, about being nice to the customer? Instead of the current generation walking around with a chip on their shoulder, looking for something to be offended about, looking for a reason to say they're a victim. Oh, back in the day, you were taught customer relations. Okay, you were taught how to work as a team. It's an iconic business. And Trump brought up while he was there working that Obama tried to destroy the franchises. Do you all remember that? Or even see, they're sneaky. They're sneaky. They will do something to destroy the framework of a capitalist system. But it's all for the good, It's all to do what's best for everyone, what's fair. "Hi, Tuco. How you doing, Gary? Nice to see you. Cola." Yeah, Trump fits in everywhere, Roland. That's for sure. He fits right in. Did I just whistle when I said sure? All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. Remember that song? He would whistle. I can't do it, but so yeah, you didn't build that. Yeah, old bummer. What the story is on that is Obama, his labor secretary, tried to use lawfare. Excuse me while I was sipping my coffee. To force franchises to accept unions. Imagine that. Imagine that. Your local McDonald's gets unionized. "If we don't get $20 an hour, we're going on strike." Running the fry vat. And always remember Hostess cupcakes, Twinkies, Ho-Hos. There couldn't be an agreement reached, and everything went shut down, gone, out of here. They're making them now. Somebody bought the carcass of another iconic company. Remember having your kids pack their lunch for school back when kids could take their own lunch, and you'd have a package of Ho-Hos or cupcakes with the white swirl on top, Twinkies. All that's just a memory now. The school lunches, and I guess somebody's making Ho-Hos now, but the business shut down. Okay, people were out of work. All for what? So he wanted to do that with McDonald's, Burger King, anything that was franchised. And how a franchise works is you have a concept. You can buy a license from corporate and say, hey, I'm going to run McDonald's and I want to be an owner operator. Well, that allows for tremendous growth for the brand because you have thousands of people across the country that could invest in their own store. But in order to have the license, they have to play by McDonald's rules. They have to use a product that meets specifications, to all be patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese. And I want to use my grandmother made a special sauce. I want to put that on a Big Mac. No, you can't do that. You have to use what the company says. And you can run your own business. You do the hiring, you do the firing, you do the inventory, and you can do real well. But they wanted to make everybody subject to union rules. You just throw your hands up and say, forget it. Forget it. Can you imagine a bunch of 16, 17-year-old boneheads that are you have to train them how to be prompt, how to have a good work ethic, how to clean as you go, quality service, cleanliness, QSC. That was the big thing with McDonald's back in the 80s and 70s. You're taking somebody, especially now on a days, that isn't used to physical labor, isn't used to taking orders, isn't used to being prompt, isn't used to being responsible. And you have to take that clump of cells and make them functional so they can earn a good paycheck and you can have a profitable business. So anyway, this labor secretary character, he was appointed in some kind of sideways manner, made a cabinet member or something. And that wasn't even clear how they did that was according to Hoyle. But as soon as he got in, he started putting out these dictates, and everybody had to sue to keep them from unionizing all these little restaurants and business ventures all over the country. So it cost millions and millions of dollars, and people were threatened with criminal violations. Now Trump came along, and all that's gone. Okay, court cases, all that crap is gone. But there was one hitch with that when he got his own labor secretary. All the people that were in Trump's first administration were career bureaucrats, beholden in some way to the other to the cabal. His labor secretary, those of you who have been listening to me for a while, should know what I'm getting at. What kind of problem did his labor secretary have? Who remembers what kind of problem Trump's first labor secretary had? And people say, well, it was Trump's cabinet member. It was Trump's official. No, they're all baked in. They're baked in when somebody like Trump gets in there. They're automatically surrounded. They're surrounded by people who have been compromised, induced, bribed, complicit, not anybody he chooses. I'm seeing if anybody remembers what happened. Yeah, all that stuff was bigger then. The Twinkies and Ho-Hos, they probably taste different. Been years since I ate any of that stuff. I swore it off after that strike. Because they came out and told union members, this is going to end this company. There won't be a Shire, Pippin. Television shows, got it? Epsteiners. Yep, he was the one who approved Jeffrey E.'s sweetheart deal and Ghislaine Maxwell's immunity. All that stuff was illegal. He claimed he was intimidated by intelligence services. So Trump did give him a, I would say, let him save face, acknowledged his service, but he still fired him. And he let him plead his case. Trump was standing right next to him when he got up to the mic in front of the press and explained how he had been intimidated into giving that deal to Epstein. And he submitted his resignation. That's right, Roland. That's why he has to shut down the whole government and start from scratch. But what's the more palatable way of saying that? Hi, Ronald. How you doing? Ronald said, what's the more palatable way is what Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said, we must re-engineer government. Okay? Instead of making it a personal thing or a fear factor, like the Dems are saying, he's going to he's going to activate the military to put people in jail. A couple of weeks ago, he's going to just fire out of the blue millions of people for no reason. No, we're going to re-engineer the government. How many millions of people are on the payroll in the federal government, and their only reason for existence is to perpetuate the federal government and their own careers? Tennessee, how you doing? Benjamin, how you doing? Yeah, I'm sure the ingredients. I'm reading Sherry's posts. They bioengineer everything. I don't know if they bioengineer everything, but I can tell you what: McDonald's doesn't use the 2-all beef patty special sauce and cheese song anymore for the Big Mac, because I think the quarter pounder is the only one that's 100% beef. I think they have fillers and soy perhaps in the smaller burgers, but they don't tell you that. I don't know. They used to use local farms to get the eggs for the Egg McMuffin. Local dairy farms to get their milk for ice cream and shakes. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, you keep your job by merit and also by necessity. I hearken back to Marion Barry, okay, when he got DC mayor for life, when he got caught doing crack, of all things. His quote, air quote, girlfriend, what did DC mayor said? The bee set me up, but he didn't say bee, he said something else. Oh, that's good to know, Tennessee. Del Monte does not use any GMO in their canned vegetables. Todd wants them all out of there. Ha ha! Term limits. No one should be in government for their entire life. Well, you got pencil pushers, and somebody's got to push the pencil. If they're good at it, a lot of people, the percentage of people I've found helpful in the federal government is small, but they do make a difference. If you got somebody that knows the ropes and wants to actually be a public servant rather than a public official. Trying to make sure these chats don't freeze up. Hi, Jackie. How you doing? Let's see. So anyway, I got updates on all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about it. I'm just seeing what touching base with y'all. Anybody seen DeCat? Remember, DeCat was having a problem. We were saying, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" We hadn't heard. I hope we hear if everything is all right. Oh my gosh, TJ, I don't know about that. You'll have to get some receipts on that. But Trump said he loves all the food at McDonald's. I'm sure if there was something verifiably gross like that, he wouldn't love it. He said in the past, some people would call him a germaphobe. I have to find that quote from General Flynn that he put out. He said that soon the American people are going to experience things they never thought were possible. I don't want to, embellish it. I don't want to say more than he actually said. But yeah, this is not just another 4-year election. Yeah, you figure something like that I'd be careful about using those words without altering them, because it's getting to be a little repetitive about the human part. I don't know if they would. Yeah, I think the boss cleaned it up too, because he wouldn't be telling us that he loved it if he didn't like it. So Elon Musk is going around and doing a rally a day. I didn't know that. I don't know how long he's going to do a rally per day. He's in Pennsylvania, right? Did you all know that if you went to the rally, you'd have a chance of winning $1 million? I didn't know that till today either. They had some guy up there, and Elon Musk got one of these big checks like they print out for Publishers Clearinghouse or the lottery, and giving it to some guy standing there looking like he got hit in the head with a bat. He's like stunned. Here's your $1 million. I wonder if they can call that a tip. Because you know how it is. Somebody won $3 billion in the lottery. Oh my God, $3 billion. And then after all the taxes and stuff and paying lawyers and everything else, they got like 500,000. So I wonder if that's the case with the money Elon is giving out. Yeah. He's given away $2 million so far, says Tennessee, and television shows $1 million that said $1 million a day. How many days are you going to do that for? We'll have to get down there, because what's the chances in a lottery? One in, I don't know, take a wild guess, 27 million. So if you go to Elon rallies, it's about what, 10,000 people. And this is a movement you'll never see. The America has never seen. And then once things smooth out, we'll never see. We'll never see this again. You posted a story on my community page? When did you do that, Richard? Because if you're posting touchy stuff, it could affect my channel. I asked you to get with me, and I'm one complaint away from going into the ether. When did you do that? Because I've been online. I don't see any notifications of a post. I didn't see any notifications on any of the places I asked you to go to either. I'm starting to get my antennas up, Richard, if you know what I mean. Hi, Jackie. There's nothing on my posts. YouTube will take stuff down that is specious, or that they feel is a problem, or they feel is spam. I don't even get to see them. But it could count as a mark against my channel. You can't put explosive or controversial stuff on YouTube any more than I can. I have seen no posts, Richard, none. I saw one, and I responded, and never got a response from you on that thread. Oh, okay, Richard, that sounds good. It's the bud, B-U-D, bud. Because if you say nip it in the butt, that means people will think you're like Touchdown Tim. Bud, nip it in the bud, like trimming plants. Speaking of this, where they watch everything we say for community safety, Tommy Robinson is coming back to the UK. Well, he already landed. I was keeping an eye on that live while it was happening. And he's been in jail by the UK over free speech, been thrown in jail. And he landed at the airport today about, 2 to 3 hours ago. And he was expecting to get arrested upon his return. Hi, Lone Wolf. How are you? Ron said, we live in Israel. My bad. Well, I can't help stuff that I never see. If it gets taken down, I never see it. And there's some crazy pink hair, blue hair tag in my channel. I don't even know what's going on. I showed you all last year where just before first channel got nuked out of existence, everything, 300 videos gone, out, that I had a spike in views. I usually run about 60-40 female, male, 60% women, 40% male. It moves around a little bit, 65-35, 60-40, stuff like that. Then all of a sudden I had 20% of views by users specified. Namely, they weren't a male and they weren't a female. 2 videos in a row. All the prior videos user specified was 0, none. Then all of a sudden, they flocked to my channel. And then I got blown up. I was gone. That's the only way I knew that I had attracted some element of the alphabet gang. Hi, Celia. How you doing? Posty sent you. Who's Posty? Tell Posty I said thank you. So anyway, Richard, check where I responded to you. And we go from there. We talk on that particular thread, just touching base, generalities. You got to learn how to do the I spy. I spy. You can't put stuff right out on the table, because they'll knock it right off the table. That's why I talk in code sometimes. Yeah, Posty, are you here? The postman. The postman, does he ring twice? They say he always rings twice. So anyway, we're going to see if Tommy Robinson gets put in jail or not for his speech. That is very interesting. And did you know that there has been a leak of classified information at the highest levels, some people say, concerning Israel's response to Hezbollah, Hamas, because the big response has not happened. You know, when they sent 300 rockets, and they really haven't done a big response to October 7th. It looks big, but not really what the goals are. So they launched a bunch of rockets some weeks ago, stressed out the Iron Dome, and they said, you made a big mistake, we're going to respond, and they haven't responded yet. So Israel plans to eliminate Iran's top leadership. Israel plans to destroy the military and civilian leadership during the first wave of strikes on Iran, Western media reported, citing sources in American intelligence. This was reported in the Ruski News. And somebody leaked it. Also, the Israeli politician member of the parliament, Knesset, who leads the right-wing party Our Home Israel, said that it's Iran's turn. We've taken care of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. We've taken care of Hamas Politburo chief Yahya Sinwar. Now it's time to take care of the head of the snake, Iran. So who leaked that out? Well, the House has opened up an investigation because it is a serious breach of security protocol. You can't expect a country to cooperate with you intelligence-wise if somebody's going to drop a dime on you and tell what your plans are. Because their whole existence is misinformation, disinformation, misdirection to keep people off balance. So now they're going to take steps. The talk was that they were only going to go for certain things, military bases, not cripple Iran's oil facilities, not go after the nuclear facilities, not go after the top tier leadership, that they were just going to do a harsh strike against military installations. And that would be the big payback. In reality, they want to end the Iranian regime. Let me tell you something else a lot of people don't remember. Since I brought up the franchise business, how the Obama administration almost single-handedly destroyed franchises. Well, the Obama administration was doing a lot of bad stuff. There was a uprising in Iran. How many of you remember this? Where people were actively protesting in the streets against the mullahs. Somebody in the State Department was leaking that there were members of the government in Iran that were also sick of the mullahs and were supporting the protesters in the street. What happened because of that leak? A lot of people in the Iranian government were purged. You know what purging means? They just drag you out back. Pew pew. And the protesters in the street were confronted by snipers on rooftops. Richard, if you just respond to where I responded to you today, don't make it complicated. Just respond where I responded to you today around 1 o'clock. And I don't want to get in the habit of having, 150 people wanting to talk to me in one day. I'm an old man. I'm by myself. And the guy that posted this stuff, first posted this stuff on X, has been taken down. He had 356,000 people following him, and he no longer exists on X. So you're playing with fire. You have to be careful. Don't think that you can just come on YouTube and put out a bunch of controversial stuff and it's not going to hurt people. Mainly me. If somebody with 350,000 subscribers on X can just be disappeared, can be doxxed with pictures of himself and the pictures of his home and not be heard from in a week, what do you think they can do to some old man in the mountains? You're not playing a game. Think about it, Richard. Do you think anybody that could come up with information that could screw up the cabal's team that they want to keep control of trillions of dollars in worldwide commerce, that you would last 10 seconds if you just puke it out? And that's about as plain as I could put it. All this stuff is archived. All these chats, my responses, even if they take down my videos, they still retain copies for themselves. And I'm trying to communicate in a way where I don't get harassed, okay? Now think about it. This is important. This is, in a way, is a good lesson. I've told people in the past, don't use your real name in chats if you are engaging in discussions that are uh, a threat to the deep, and then the other word is state. Now, why do I say it like that? Use a handle like Postman. Don't say my name is George P. Williams, Prescott Williams the third. I was born in 1956, and then start putting stuff out because all of a sudden George P. Williams runs into a tree one day. He was a nice guy. I thought he could drive better than that. He deleted it, Richard, but it's still there. And I don't have access to it. Somebody does. That's why I said the last time we had a conversation, the first thing is to make contact and go from there. Anyway, the Iranian protests. I don't have her name, but her name went around the world. People were saying the Iranian regime was getting ready to fall. This was between 15 and 20 years ago. The mullahs were under pressure from their own Republican National Guard. People were protesting in the street. They said the Iranian government was getting ready to topple. They had snipers, and they did it to multiple people. They SHOT them, all right, in their Haid, their gourd, and one in particular was a protester, and she was in her 20s, and people were saying, "We need help." Right, Ian? Arab Spring. Arab Spring. Obama let it die on the vine. He let it die on the vine, didn't give them any help. As a matter of fact, rumor is that the factions that were working against the mullahs were exposed. And eliminated, betrayed. That is another reason why the server that Hillary Clinton had in her bathroom, unsecured, was such a big issue. Not only that, but by the fistfuls, operatives, as in C dot and then I dot A dot operatives, were exposed all around the world, primarily China. And they got the out the back door pew pew treatment, or right in front of their co-workers in the street. The two countries that were the most affected were China and Iran. What are we dealing with now? Hi, Tracy. How you doing? Yeah, Miss Spindersu's here. Who we talking about? Television shows, jet lag. The internet is forever. That's right. Who's that never paid a fine in 95? Oh, they'll dig up all kinds of garbage to go after people. I have a backup channel. I'm not going to go through this again where people say, what's the link to the backup channel? Oh, that's a good way to expose what it is. I already told people the name is very similar, and I got about 100 subscribers out of 1,500 people. So I get it where people don't understand how Trump didn't want to scare people. But like he said at the Al Smith dinner, I don't feel like telling jokes. This is too serious. But he told jokes anyway and did a damn good job of it. But he let the word get out there that this is dangerous business. He said it many times. If they'll go after him twice, what are you and I? So this guy that's got 350,000 subscribers and disappeared off the face of the earth, I'll just say there's some moves to try to contact him. Something bad happened. And I'm disappointed in Clandestine, who I often read some of his quotes. He automatically condemned this person that exposed this stuff. I don't see the benefit of putting forth a hoax that's going to get your account taken down and put you in harm's way. I don't see the benefit in it. They say he's doing it for clicks, doing it for fame. What's the fame? They demonetize you, they withhold any money you might have got. Your account disappears. What's so great about that? A couple months from now, people go, remember a guy named Mountain Man? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, whatever happened to him? I don't know. I'm watching so-and-so now. You're just a fart in a high wind. And they know that. I'll tell you what, if you're on Telegram, go to Kirsten W. They're erasing her posts after so much time, they disappear. But she still got some stuff left up there. Where's this one she posted? I got a post from her that's going to disappear this week with links. It's the kind of stuff that gets you in trouble. Let me find it. Bear with me, folks. I know people want to drop off and go listen to the next exciting thing if I take a few minutes to try to find something. Not all of you. But I have to make sure also I don't fall off my transmission. Yeah, I think they got her too, Roland. Got her in California, put her on a respirator. She was actually posting from her hospital bed and died. That's the second creator that I was posting with while they were in a hospital, and they died while I was posting with them. The second one. She put up a year, 21, this was 2021, real raw news with a link about Bill Clinton. Now, I don't get into this stuff, but I know one thing with Truthers Post, sometimes there's a certain percentage of stuff they put up is true. Hi, Yvonne. Get a load of this. Bill Clinton Death ruled a homo and then died by poison. As reported by Real Raw News early this week, Guantanamo Bay security personnel discovered Bill Clinton's body lying on the floor of his cell in Camp Delta segregation block at approximately 7 a.m. Saturday. It's got a link to the Real Raw News article. So if you go to Telegram and you put in all small letters CRSTENW, Kirsten W, CIRSTNW, you'll be able to go back and watch those posts from 2021, because they're going to get erased just as an automatic thing when you're inactive, when your account's inactive, and nobody can go in there and keep it alive because she had all the passwords. Is that the same bunch? Yeah, people can put stock in whatever they think. I keep in my mind that this is biblical. This is worldwide. This is a unification of governments, military branches of government that are an alliance to break the backs of organizations that have run nations for 1,000 years. And people think when you say that, you're crazy. And I know all about that. I had one person I was going to have as a guest. All they want to do is rehash the names we all know, the Rockefellers, and then they want to talk about the what do you call them? You know all the names, Rothschilds, blah blah blah. I know all that. They're all puppets of Satan. Okay, if I can still say that on you, Tizzle. They all worship something other than God. And they come by many different family names. 5 or 6 are the main ones. But then they have others. And I believe that. And I believe the only way to put a stop to it is exactly what's happening now. And the only way to put a stop to it is with a person like Trump, who is a genius, who is brave, who is principled, who has financial wherewithal, and the backing of the alliance is the only thing that's going to destroy this. I'm going to give you an example. Israel lost one of their top commanders today. You got two dynamics happening after this Sinwar person got wiped out. He was by himself except for 2 bodyguards, run out of places to hide. There's video of his family evacuating one of their bunkers. She has I've seen different amounts for the estimate of how much the purse she was carrying was worth. Some people say $32,000. Okay. whatever. It's a designer handbag that is very expensive. For all anybody knows, it was a knockoff from China. But the fact is, when they got into this bunker that was evacuated, they found a safe. A safe with millions of dollars and shekels, okay, foreign currency to us, foreign to us, but also millions of dollars, US dollars, in stacks, along with medications, a pantry full of food gotten from the UN relief, well-financed, well-heeled. But anyway, after they get this guy, and I think they all get the wife too, she's complicit, all right, like Julian and Ethel Rosenberg, I mean. They had a mass surrender of Hamas. Never been seen before. Dozens and dozens and dozens of them in a row, in a column, hands up, in the dilapidated, destroyed area of Gaza. Because the deal is, if you're still there, you better be unarmed and you better listen to whatever the IDF tells you, Israeli Defense Force. You better have your identification. You shouldn't even be there. If you're a peaceable person, you're supposed to evacuate. And if you don't do what I just said, what happened to Sinwar happens to you. They're cleaning it out. They've got video of Sinwar's brother riding in a car. And when you first look at it, you think they're riding down some back street, an alleyway or something in the dark. But they're driving down a tunnel that's big enough to accommodate a car. Very sophisticated. None of that came free. Americans are going to be shocked and staggered by the amount of money that had been pissed away in these foreign adventures. Remember what George Washington said, stay away from foreign entanglements. Well, we've dove headlong into them for decades and decades. People shouldn't be on a treadmill working a job and accounting for every dime they make to some worthless bureaucrat that can put you in prison. But that's the system they created. That's the system they've had for 1,000 years. Subjugation. And we subjugated ourselves in 1916. That's right, Roland. Korea, Vietnam. So anyway, so you go from that, all these Hamas, historic number of them surrendering. Ones that, if they didn't get their eyeballs and their fingers blown off on a pager, if they didn't get pummeled into dust, hiding out in some rat hole bombed out building, they're fortunate enough to still be living. They throw their hands up and surrender. First time. Their lights are cutting on because they put flyers all over and said, look, just lay down your weapons, go home and live in peace. That's all we're saying. And give us our hostages back. They know that a lot of these people surrendering don't have any influence over that. But if they want to stay stupid, they'll die stupid. It's a terrible way to put it, but it's a fact of life, and it's something that's got to happen at some point. It's like when I said Reagan put out those key words against Muammar Gaddafi. Mad dog. That's a key words. That means there's nothing you can do but end it. Like I said, mad dog. You cannot give it aspirin, some kind of, take it to the vet, and then train it to bring you your paper, or it'll lay at your feet and you can pet it. It'll never happen. It's a mad dog. It's over. Right after Reagan said that, Gaddafi surrendered. People don't remember how when Carter gave up Iran, when Carter gave up the Panama Canal, when communism started coming into South America, now we're paying the price. Venezuela, Brazil. When he gave up Iran, there were hijackings, airplanes, ships, bombing of the Marine barracks, the execution of a general, U.S. general I talked to you about, that Ollie North was involved in attempting to rescue. They filmed it and put it out for the world to see. So Carter, through his do-gooder stupidity, caused a lot of misery. Because while you've got a puppet like that, a moron, an intelligent moron, they're doing operations. And I'm doing the weave. I'm coming back to the senior Israeli commander that was unalived. They're all on the run. They're surrendering. Their leadership is gone. Somebody leaks that Israel's going to take out the government of Iran. That is what is being said, which should have been done under the Obama administration to remedy what Carter caused. So then you all of a sudden have a top commander in Israel get taken out. He was in a tank. And it got demolished. That level of weapon, they could take out the treads. They could, if they get a lucky strike, they could cause that kind of damage. But they don't have that kind of capability for explosives. Oh, now they do. The moment Hamas attacked an Israeli Merkava Mk4 tank in the northern Gaza Strip. I got a video of it. This was before they knew that commander was in there. It was an improvised explosive device made from an unexploded American Mk82 BOMB, which the Israeli Air Force uses to strike the enclave. So in other words, they're saying that they got this heavy ordnance because they found it. It was just unexploded ordnance. And then they reconfigured it into a IED. I call BS. I think they just give them the ordnance and directions on how to bypass the timer or the how to ignite it. And there's some electronics in there that you got to know what you're doing. We're going to give you this heavy ordnance, but they can't trace it back because it was just unexploded stuff they dropped in your territory. That's how you got it. BS. Conniving and evil. How can we take a tank out? All we have is RPG. All we have is grenade. All we have is this. All we have is that. Oh, how about this? How about a 200-pounder? Here's the schematics. So anyway, that's just part of my rant. You know, they're not fooling me, not fooling anybody. The House of Representatives will soon hold a closed-door briefing on the leak of classified intelligence documents regarding Israel's preparations for an attack on Iran. That was just before the report about that top commander getting taken out. So it's moves and counter moves, but did you know that Cuba has been without power for 3 days? The entire island? Richard, are you still here? Don't get mad at me. Sometimes you just got to be loud and proud to get the point across. That's what I'm saying. Hi, this is Justin. Where's Richard? Richard, you put out too much info. I had a friend of mine to give me some advice I never forgot. And you can use it in your finances. You can use it in your personal life. Never tell them everything. Never tell them everything. Yeah, check her phone. What did she say? Don't go into Rafah? Telling Israel, who the hell is she? She's the vice president. She hadn't been involved in squat. And the one time she comes out talking about the Israeli conflict, she tells them not to go into Rafah. What's in Rafah? This millionaire terrorist that they caught. If they would have listened to Kamala, they never would have got him. Never would have had those dozens and dozens and dozens of lunatics surrender. Ha ha, right, Ronald? You bet it's on at Gitmo. Cubans are growing impatient on this third day without electricity. They're protesting the communist government by banging pots and pans. And they're probably taking a chance doing that. All these young upstarts have no idea of what they're calling for. What they're calling for to happen to us. They have no idea what it's going to be like when it gets turned around on them. You think the entire island is deserves to be living in squalor for 3 days with no power? they don't delineate. When the wheels fall off the communist wagon, everybody's sitting. Nobody moves. Leading report, Trump put it up. Donald Trump now has a 93.2% chance of winning the Electoral College, according to Real Clear Politics and Silver Bulletin polling. But they still show Kamala ahead in the popular vote. You know, and they say certain ones are the best because they came within 0.3% of last election and 0.2% or 3% of 2020. Well, I don't think they're great because I know that a significant number of those things that were calculated were false. I'm estimating around 10 million. It's the only way Joe could have won. Only way. You all seen me put the meme up with Einstein pointing at his head. How can you have that many if there's only this many registered in the whole country? How can you have those totals? It's impossible. But they want to have a showing of Kamala winning the popular vote. So if Trump wins the Electoral College, they can whip people up in a frenzy to try to get rid of the Electoral College. Part of the framework of our Constitution. Agitators trying to undermine and subvert the Constitution. DC Drano put this out. Michigan says they won't have vote totals on election night. Pennsylvania says they won't have vote totals on election night. Georgia says they won't have vote totals on election night. Arizona says they won't have vote totals on election night. How come it is that third world countries hand count ballots in one day, but American swing states need days to count with contraptions? Because I have to break up the word machines, okay? We all know what they're doing to use those extra days. They're trying to STEAL it. Insane corruption. How many states did I just mention? 5? Yeah, I heard something about that, Gary. 2020 shenanigans. Trump said we'll go after them if we can. If we can. Be fixed before the 5th. Boy, I'd love to see that. The clock is ticking, though. Well, Kim, they banged their pots and pans. There were people banging their pots and pans that go into prison. Or worse. Talk to Cuban expatriates. They'll tell you how it goes. Anybody that's a threat, they're just X'd out, gone. That's why it's so disgusting. Tim Walz having his wedding day on the anniversary of Tiananmen Square. That was a heartbreaking horror that Americans can't even comprehend, that he worships that day. He said he learned how to govern in China. He said that. Is that how you learned how to govern Tiananmen Square? You slob. I found a video. LA Tenant Union wants to totally eliminate all private landlords. Out there holding a banner. I was a landlord for years. 30 years. And I remember the attacks that started coming, and they were political and they were lawfare. You had judges with communist leanings that were using every pitiful excuse to keep non-paying bums in other people's property. Chaotic footage shows suspected fraudsters reverse into car and fake injuries. That was on the New York Post channel. It was also on the Off Topic show. Somebody slams their brakes on in front of you. You stop in time. They back their car up and ram into you. These people had it all on dash cam. How many times have they gotten away with stunts like this? This is the type of thing I'm talking about. If somebody has been on parole by Biden and not a citizen, if somebody got their citizenship papers, but are foreign-born nationals, if they participate in this type of stuff, they should be stripped of their citizenship, have their parole revoked, and be deported. Coming here to conduct criminal activity. That is verboten. Did you see Brian Stelter? Did you know they brought Brian Stelter back? Brian Stelter's back on CNN. Did you all get to see that? He looks like Tim Walz's nephew. I should make fun of him because I think he's part of the Truth and Reconciliation Act. I played the video multiple times where he said, the first one to say it on CNN in front of God and everybody, that he heard Hunter Biden's charges were very real and that he's looking to be arrested and he's going to do jail time. Is a very real possibility. A week later, he was fired. Well, he got on CNN and he said about Trump at the dinner, another one of Kamala's failures this week. She got roasted and fried. She got roasted at the dinner and she got fried at McDonald's. Brian Stelter said that he thought Trump did a good job, real good job. And he said Trump was traumatized by the assassination attempts. Had to be. But he was referring to the attempts in a way that humanized him. You could see the looks on the other CNN participants' faces. You could see their look of shock. How could you, Brian Stelter, humanize Donald Trump? Show any kind of concern for him, or express to the American people that he suffered psychological trauma. It's not allowed on CNN. Well, it is now. I don't know if Brian Stelter's doing it because they make him do it, or if he's doing it because he's trying to help the cause out of a sense of humanity. The only thing I ever heard about Brian Stelter, people make fun of him and everything, but I've heard he's got a wife, and it looks like a real wife. I've talked before about effeminate men. Doesn't mean they're bad people. And I've gone through all these stars in the past from the 1950s, that were never a problem, but they were definitely effeminate. And I've had friends who were effeminate, and they introduced me to his wife, and she was a real wife. She's a woman, but she was a little, kind of like a little truck driver, but they were happy together. A lid for every pot. He said, "Hey, you want me to be my wife?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, how are you, ma'am? Nice to meet you." She said, "Very nice to meet you." But she was a woman. It's just the way she was. Kind of like a tomboy situation. They were older. Been married for 30 years, had 3 kids. Another one of Kamala's successes was having Lizzo. Lizzo show up to her rally on a jet. Talk about how great Detroit was. Everybody's just rolling their eyes. It just looks clownish. Trump is leading in every metric. He has improved, not just statistical anomaly, but fact. First thing, a lot of people talk about is the black vote. And they say, well, it's mostly black men. Like hell. It's more black men going to Trump, but there's a discernible and meaningful shift in black female votes. Undeniable. Because how I know one way without being scientific? They're paying people to bash Trump. Thousands of dollars. If 2 years ago when I started my channel, I wanted to bash Trump, I could get $500 to $900 a video. Per video. From some NGO. TikTok's the same way. The Biden administration announced that they were activating TikTok accounts to help with their campaign. In other words, paying people off. All you see on TikTok are black females talking about Trump being good, talking about how this country needs to change direction, talking about the spiritual problems in this country if people that don't vote for Trump. And nobody's paying them. So they're polling and saying there's all these black women against Trump. Easy money. Just go on TikTok and say why you don't support Trump. You don't see it. So that's why I'm saying these pollsters They may mean well, especially the ones that were 0.3% off. But if they were factoring in the invalid things that were cast, they would be off by about 10 points. Trump's way. So Trump got up this morning. He did an interview. He went and worked at McDonald's. He did a press conference at the airport. He went to a town hall. And now he's at a ball game. How was your Sunday, Kamala? Since Trump is losing it, since he's frail. I listened to a MSNBC broadcast. I can't think of the terms. I'll have to re-listen to it, but they're all using the same terms. That he's unstable, that he's failing, physically, mentally failing. Well, Kamala went to a church today, and she had Stevie Wonder sing happy birthday to her. And she gave her condolences, as we all do and should, to 7 people that lost their lives. There was a collapse of a dock, aluminum. First time I've seen something that big being made out of aluminum at a ferry in Georgia. Had about 20 people on it, and it collapsed, and 7 people didn't make it. Overloaded, I suspect. And so she gave her the condolences. But other than that, I don't know what she did today. There's some inside stuff getting out about her reaction to the Bret Baier thing. Where she got nasty with Bret Baier. Did you all hear that? Now, maybe Bret Baier after the election will confirm it or not. I don't know. He's probably tempted to. But here's what one guy put out. Kamala, after the interview with Bret Baier. My friend was in the camera crew for the interview with Bret Baier and Kamala Harris. Kamala clearly struggled, as many people pointed out. After the interview concluded, she apparently refused to shake Bret Baier's hand and called him, quote, dirty. Then she said, quote, you're just another lousy MAGA nut job. And Bret just laughed. She then started to tear up and said, quote, we can edit this, right? Right? Then she went to her team and said, quote, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's over. At least she knew she messed up. Good. Good. And I believe that's why she doesn't do a lot of appearances and talks and stuff. I think she's emotional. I think she's having a hard time controlling the fear, the knowledge that she is underperforming. She's not able to hide it. Another thing that was put out about mainstream media It admits the Ukrainian terror attacks carried out under C.I.A. training. Now, is this some unconfirmed talk? No, it's from the Washington Post. The Washington Post has confirmed that the Russian Ministry of Defense has long been saying the attacks on Russia, such as the Crimean bridge bombing, were assisted by the C.A. You hear anybody else talking about that? That is huge. That's huge. That was an act of war. Nobody's talking about it, but the Post reported it. But remember, this is the same Post that gave everybody a day off when Sinwar was unalived. And they put an obituary up about Sinwar like he was some kind of a wonderful individual. But why are they putting this information out? Since 2015, the C_A has reportedly spent, quote, tens of millions to train Ukrainian SBU, paying for new headquarters, surveillance systems, trained recruits, all while sharing intelligence. This C_A training has been used in politically targeted assassinations, such as the one that unalived Daria Dugina and the strike of the Crimean bridge that killed 5 innocents, including a driver that had no idea he had a bomb planted on his truck. He's just driving a truck, making a delivery, and then he's atomized. And the Daria Dugina, he's the one who, before they got him, they got his daughter. Remember that, folks? His daughter said, I want to take the car. She drove off and it blew up. And I forget how much time went by, but they eventually got him too. These are the kind of animals we're dealing with. These are the kind of animals we're dealing with. But it's reported in the Post, and it is something that if I talked about that myself, I'd lose my channel, right? No one would believe me. They'd say I'm crazy. But they put it in the Post, and you don't hear it on CNN. You don't hear it on MSNBC. You don't hear it nowhere. But you're hearing it here. Then Viva Frey put out. People are saying that Kari Lake is in trouble in Arizona. Is that what you all are hearing too? How the hell is that? How the hell could that be? But now I'm hearing that she could possibly win by 1 point. But then on the other end of the scale, you hear all this business about not being able to count for days, not having to be able to get an answer, overseas ballots being 9 million, up from 2.5 to 9 million. Courts overturning hand counts in Georgia, courts overturning this and that. Well, Viva Frey put out Arizona senatorial candidate Ruben Gallego ties to Colombian cartels, ? Well, remember, they had a witness in front of the State House that was talking about deeds, okay, mortgage papers that were fraudulent to launder money, deeds to non-existent property, all to government officials. And the person that invited that witness to testify was sanctioned, I believe, lost her law license or something of that nature, never got investigated. So now we're hearing this about Viva Frei. So maybe, like Gary said, something might happen before November 5th. Very serious allegations. And we know that Kari Lake said in no uncertain terms that somebody came to her front door with a bribe. I got a statement from 60 Minutes. They're at the cusp of being yanked off the air, maybe suspended for a couple of weeks, definitely paying a fine if there's action taken. They'd have to pay probably a multi-million-dollar fine. So they're on the ropes. Excuse me, I have a sip of my coffee. So they put out an apology letter. Don't forget, Kari also had somebody on tape. Remember that? Kari Lake tapes? I played them. Where they were hinting at something bad happening. Kind of like a covert threaten job. While she was, sounded like she was eating Cheetos or something like that. She pretty much told him to go take a hike. Where is it? Well, one thing about that dock collapse, everybody that was unalived was it was 7 people. They were between the ages of 73 and 93. They were all elderly, 78 years old, 80 years old, 93. Wow, isn't that a terrible way to go? I was so sorry that happened. A statement from 60 Minutes. Former President Donald Trump is accusing 60 Minutes of deceitful editing of our October 7th interview with Kamala Harris. That is false. So they're unequivocally saying it's false. And did you notice something about that date? The 1-year anniversary of the attack on Israel, October 7th. 60 Minutes gave an excerpt of our interview to Face the Nation that used a longer section of her answer than that on 60 Minutes. Same question, same answer, but a different portion of the response. When we edit any interview, whether a politician, an athlete, or movie star, we strive to be clear, accurate, and on point. The portion of her answer on 60 Minutes was more succinct, which allows time for other subjects in a wide-ranging 21-minute-long segment. Remember, Mr. Trump pulled out of his interview with 60 Minutes, and the vice president participated. Our longstanding invitation to former President Trump remains open. If he'd like to discuss issues facing the nation in the Harris interview, we'd be happy to have him on 60 Minutes. No, he's not going on there till you all apologize for supporting the Hunter laptop lie. And we'll see what Mr. T's response is to this BS excuse as to why you swapped out answers. Apparently from 2 different shows. I don't think it's going to fly. What do you all think? Think it's going to fly? I hope that's true, Gary. We got the receipts, and they can run, but they can't hide. I think that we're going to go. I think there may be before November 5th some people getting rounded up, just like that FBI guy that the news didn't report on, a top FBI guy. What did Trump say? They bum walked him out, or what was the term they used? He showed up. One guy got on one elbow, one guy got on the other elbow, just out of the blue, and said, "No, you ain't going to your office today. Turn around, leave now." Tim Tebow, remember? We're going to see stuff like that, I believe. But I think Americans are going to get to be heard, and that they are going. I was listening to one of my old broadcasts today. Squeeze that in with all the other listening and note taking and whatever. They're going to do something so blatant, so outrageous, and use the same childish excuses and propaganda points that are going to puke out a lot of Americans. We're going to force them to show their rear ends. That's what I think. Yeah, Comey got fired way before this Tebow guy. He went to get on his plane and they showed up one on each elbow. You ain't getting on your plane today. You're getting in this car over here. You're fired. And we're already in your office. We're already in your safe. People don't remember that. We do. People don't remember when 25 what's the name? I know the name of them. The planes, Ospreys, full of Marines, landed. Where did they land? Out of the blue. Do you all remember that story? When it was in 2017, between 20 and 25 Ospreys full of Marines landed somewhere and took control. Right here in America. See who remembers that. People denied it, said it never happened. And then somebody put up a video way before AI showed landmarks, street signs, showed the helicopters flying in. I mean, the Ospreys, which can turn into a helicopter, might as well say, and then land. Where was that, folks? It's my parting question. In America, in Northern Virginia, sometimes they call it the farm. Sometimes they call it the farm. It's where Anderson Cooper's been training. It's where Peter Strzok's been training. It's been where Adam Kinzinger, Adam Schiff, the C.I.A. calls it the farm. Ronald Frey got it. Langley. Mountain Weather's FEMA. Roland, Quantico is where they probably dispatched from. That's the Marine base in Quantico. That is impregnable. That is a home base to the president's own, the United States Marine Corps. And they dispatched between 20 and 25 Ospreys to raid CIA headquarters in Langley. And they seized a lot of information and files. Anybody that objected to it was told in Russian, tough shitsky. I'm just kidding about the Russian part. Tough shitsky. So anyway, we remember all that stuff. Lying sack of Schaefer, as Judge Janine calls him, yeah. Little sack of Schiff. So, yeah, the server hideout was in Germany. And, man, I gone a long time tonight. I can probably pull up the tape, but, a lot of effort. It's probably not even available. But Representative Louis Gohmert came out and unequivocally said he heard there was a raid. And where was that at? In Frankfurt, Germany, where the servers were. But I'm getting too deep. I could call out some names that I know are flagged. Gina, and not Lola Brigida either. Last name is Hass. Okay, it's the first part of it. And Pell, P-E-L. That's the second part of it. Was taken into custody. So we got to remember all these things because they happened. It's a fact. It was verified by a member of the House, Representative Louis Gohmert. And a lot of things have been confirmed by members of the Senate. Chuck Grassley. So anyway, folks, Kamala had a bad week. Her weeks are going to get worse and worse. I think with the Truth and Reconciliation Act, it's going to be where the majority of Americans understand that there's a wave to reinstate Donald J. Trump, and that anything that happens on November 5th to the contrary is going to be viewed with suspicion by a great majority of the American people. Probably as much as 70 to 80%. I think it's going to be 70% that will be certain, and then another 10% that'll say, well, maybe you're right. And we'll have about 20% or so that are lost. The estimate prior to this was 5 to 10%. But the estimate is low, I believe. All right, folks, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. I'll probably be going live tomorrow night, and we'll see what happens. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. And don't get rattled by anything. And I hope everybody is prepared. If they send something like they did in Texas about How many years ago was that? 3 years ago? People in Texas were freezing and crunching around in snow. That you got plenty of food available, that you got an alternative way of cook, a little propane camp stove, got a battery pack so you can keep your device charged if they don't block the internet, some way to generate electricity. All right. Even if it's a little cheapo $99 two-stroke tailgater, learn how to use it and learn its limitations so you don't burn it out trying to run some big item. But you got enough to get through. And it's not because we're crazy. It's because SH and that's it happens. Okay. Just ask people in parts of Georgia and North Carolina what happens. Okay, folks? So anyway, you all keep your chins up and don't get distracted and don't get overreacted. You all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.